Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm talking about how I'm teaching the Great Gatsby this year. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, Japanese, and yes, indeed, I have one section of English language arts this year. Please talk to me about the stuff, bounce ideas off of me, help me flesh out my crazy stuff. Come talk to me at the Minecraft Teachers Lounge or the Minecraft Education Ambassadors at RoxM, Duolingo Educators Network, the Teacher Excellence Lounge or the World Language Teachers Lounge, or the Wayground Game Changers or Art in Spanish class. And I can also be reached at the NASEF Discord. So I've been teaching Spanish, French, Japanese for a very long time. And as of last year, I was asked to take on a section of English language arts. And I've been talking about how I feel like a first-year teacher. Because although I love to read, I'm a voracious reader, which is why I speak so many languages. And I love to write. I'm not afraid of writing. I've written several books now. I appreciate the craft of writing. Somehow getting that enthusiasm into my students has been more difficult than I imagined it would be. So I feel like a first-year teacher as far as English language arts goes. So we are at the point of Great Gatsby when their students are done reading, where I have created this little escape room, and I want to talk to you about the escape room. So the setup isn't really an escape so much as Tom Buchanan is upset that Daisy is swooning over Gatsby, and he wants to look for dirt on Gatsby, basically. So I've got some quotes from the book about some rumors that are flying about Gatsby, and he's like, I don't know, and I don't care. I just have to prove to my wife that he's a fraud. Help me decipher these clues to get the dirt on Gatsby. So that's the setup. Now, my room's kind of crowded because so much stuff, like each language has different materials I need, and I really like manipulatives. I really like students holding on to stuff and moving stuff around because I think they can think better when they've got something in their hands, which is why I'm doing an escape room. But because it's really difficult to set up and tear down between each class when the very next class is something completely, totally different, I go for the simpler things in life. So the escape room is I just plop down the deck of cards on the desk, and I just plop down the globe on the desk, and I just plop down, whatever it is. It's not, I can't physically change the room around. I can't go taping keys underneath desks because what happens if period 1 French class finds it and my English language arts class isn't until 6th period, and what if I don't notice in time, so it doesn't make any sense to do that. So it's all got to be really easy, and I'll walk you through what I'm doing, okay? All right, so the first thing is the students get that letter from Tom Buchanan, and they get just this kind of a graphic organizer. I hesitate to call it a graphic organizer. There's not much graphic organizing going on, right? But it's just a place for them to make notes. And I don't want them to miss anything. So it's like there's an origami thing. There's a rotary phone. There's a multiple choice. There's a green light. There's a crossword. There's a broken clock. There's the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg. There's a logic puzzle, etc., 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 just so that they can make sure that they've got each thing. And then when they put all the clues together, they'll have a little sentence here. If I can get my page to advance, there we go. All right, so super excited about this. So I've been hanging out in art and Spanish class, and I met Learning Llama at the Practical and Comprehensible conference, which is a great conference put on by La Libre Language Learning. And she is very much into escape rooms, and she has really emboldened me, and I really want to thank her for that. Her big thing was, look, you've got the worksheets already, just use those. This is how you can change a regular worksheet into an escape room. And like that just made everything so much easier for me, because before I'd been doing these really elaborate escape rooms and stuff. And I really like escape rooms, which is why I turned to Minecraft education, but I kind of let physical escape rooms go by the wayside when I started teaching so many different things. It's like I just can't set up for it. So this was a really good way for me to think about it. I'm really, really happy that she's lowered my affective filter about escape rooms. So yes, indeed, I have worksheets, and one of my favorite worksheets is actually not a worksheet at all. It's on Bluekit. I love Bluekit. I've talked about Bluekit a lot, and so I've got my little Bluekit quiz for the students, and Bluekit has, if you click right here on the gear, you have an option to print. And they have a very, very pretty print feature. I made it really tiny here. It's a very pretty print feature, but it prints out a typical 26 question. Bluekit will print out on like 4 to 5 pages. And I thought, do I print it for all my students? We had last year we had a little bit of a paper problem. We had a paper shortage. And so I was like, well, I don't really want to print them. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to print it once on cardstock, and I'm going to cut out the cardstock. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. I'll cut out the cardstock so the students can manipulate it. So what I did was I made one cardstock, just says, stack them here if your answer is A. Okay, stack them here if your answer is B. That way the students can stack them as they're going through them, and then they can say, oh, I've got more A's, more B's, more D's, whatever. Okay, and then the clue is tally up your score. If the most is A's, the number 2 is A. If the most is B's, blah, blah, blah. The second most is A's. So go through all A, B, C, D, right? And so they can figure out what the number is and what the letter is based on how many of each thing they answered. And let me just show you what that turned out to look like. So here's where they stack them. Here's the clues just cut out. That did not take me all that long to do because I just printed it once and sliced straight across, and it didn't matter that it was pretty or not. It doesn't matter that this one is skinnier than this one. Who cares? I'm going to try and watch my time. I'm already at 8 minutes. I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces. All right, and then here we go. We're stacking them up. All right, so as they answer them, they've got them in their hands. They're working together in their group of 2 or 3, and they can stack them here, and then they can see at the end to tally them up. Let me do another one, and then I'll print. I'll pause. Okay, I'm thinking so much. All right, I knew I wanted a phone. A rotary phone is a big deal, and I knew that it was going to be difficult to explain to my students. Gatsby cannot go anywhere because he's waiting for a phone call from Daisy. I knew that they were going to have a hard time visualizing that, okay? So for my rotary phone escape room part, I decided, hey, each of these has a letter, so I gave them math problems. D plus A plus I plus S plus Y equals S, okay? So they can look at the rotary phone and they can count them up, all right? And then D times A times I minus S plus Y equals G, that kind of thing. So this is pretty fun because the students, of course, don't want to do math unless they're in math class. But welcome to the real world. Everything that we're not in a bubble in the real world. For my, I did want a prop. I've got toy phones that I guess I'm a hoarder. I never got rid of them. In my Japanese class, when I first started teaching 100 million years ago, we had toy phones, so the kids would pick them up and practice saying moshi moshi to each other, and I still have those toy phones. They're not rotary phones, but yeah, I put it out. It's a landline. The kids can't tell the difference anyway. So, and that's what it looks like when I printed it. I printed it yellow. Okay. I made a crossword puzzle. Many years ago, my next door neighbor colleague who teaches Spanish, he teaches only Spanish and generally only one level of Spanish. He bought a crossword puzzle creator, and I make a lot of use out of it. I love this thing because when we're doing our TPRS stories, at the end of it, I make a crossword puzzle with the sentences in the story, and the students have to fill it in just the way they did as we were creating the story, so they get more practice with the language there. And I thought, hey, I got the crossword puzzle. Let's do that for Gatsby. So I put a bunch of things that the students, should hopefully know by this point. And they did, where's Tom's mansion located? Okay, so some of them thought West Egg instead of East Egg, and so they figured it out pretty quickly, because it didn't make any sense. Row between West Egg and East Egg is, so just typical Gatsby questions that you would normally find on a worksheet. And I circled some of the answers, and then they have to unscramble those letters and put them here. And actually, there's a 14 under here. So that will be like clue number 14 is whatever letter wound up there. All right, I'm going to pause here so that I do not overwhelm you. You can like take a break, go walk around and stuff, and then I will finish explaining my escape room in the next episode, and I hope to see you there.